I'm going to do, we're going to do a little introduction. You've been so kind to spend this time and continuing to stay. So I'm going to make it brief and going to introduce Vanessa, who is our lead in the focus group. This is Shelley. She goes up on my desk. But I will do the introduction. Okay. So again, since people were not all here for the AGM, I'm just going to quickly introduce myself. Sorry if I repeat myself. So my name is Jeremy Finkelstein. I'm the Executive Director of the Mindfulness Council of Canada. Just means, again, a lot to me. I just want to welcome everyone, whoever's new. Thank you so much for being here, taking the time to come to our community town hall as we're going to let you know what we have found out based on your sharing. So before diving into the results, I just want to acknowledge how the national research came together. So it was our thinking that we should survey mindfulness providers, practitioners, and allies to find out what desires and needs there are in 2025 to determine what MCC will become and blossom into. The original design of the survey was developed by our advisor, Michelle Chaban, who I mentioned earlier, fairy godmother of mindfulness, and myself. We were refined through the thoughtful input of the MCC survey committee, which includes our co-chair, Jackie Gardner-Nix, our advisor, Dr. Shelley Murphy, if you can raise your hand. She's done so much work for us. Great. Pavandeep Singh, who works at CAMH, I think he's here too. It's pretty great. You can raise your hand. There he is. And again, Sherry Lee is also within the committee. So we also received guidance from our Indigenous Advisory Circle, which includes Michael Yellowbird, our co-chair, Isabelle Tremblay, that you also heard from, Dylan Jenkins, who I don't think is here, but is another amazing person who's an advisor, and Paul Preston as well. He's an amazing board member and also treasurer. I think that's everyone. I just want to quickly thank Michael Yellowbird, our co-chair, who was able to get grant funding for us to actually do this project and was able to actually do this and hire Vanessa Evans, who I'm going to introduce, who is the project lead of our Mindfulness Council of Canada research project. So I was really thankful to Heidi Bornstein, who is our advisor. She is the founder of Mindfulness Every Day, a charity located in Toronto that I've worked for. Heidi has devoted her life to mindfulness, bringing it to youth, to the education system, and way beyond. She is our partner and helps us take donations and pushes us to be our best and enables us to do what we're trying to do. So Heidi, if you can raise your hand, I just want to thank you. That was great. So Heidi introduced me to Vanessa Evans. So Vanessa is our project lead on the mindfulness research project. I met with Vanessa and we were instantly buddies. She has a great passion. She works for Dr. Chris Willard in the States. She has her own mindfulness organization named Be Well Now, as well as Guiding Mindfully. She's also, like Heidi, just dedicated and doesn't stop working. Vanessa took on the project and we became partners in crime, so to speak, and have worked tirelessly for the past 5 months as we've halted and focused on finding out what you and everyone here who has offered their time tonight and in the surveys focus one-on-one group that Vanessa has conducted and is compiling. So with that, this community town hall is for Vanessa to introduce herself, to just give you the findings. It's kind of this nice raw data. And Vanessa and Mindfulness Council of Canada want to hear from you. We've spoken to you for a long time and we will continue to, but the intent of this community town hall is to build a community, a national mindfulness community, which this is what we're doing. I've mentioned it lastly that our strategic planning will be at the end of July. And all of this information will inform our strategic planning. So this could also look as a community gathering where we are continuing to learn from you, to hear from you with mindful ears, to move into our next chapter. So with that, I just want to introduce Vanessa Evans. Thank you, Vanessa.
Thank you, Jeremy. And thank you, everyone. It's been such a pleasure to work with MCC over the last, well, I was actually introduced to Jackie through the Mindful Society Global Institute. So as this was starting up a couple of years ago, I was involved. And at that time, Gary and I sat in a lot of programs together. It's been great. I've been very happy to meet Jeremy through Heidi. Thank you again, Heidi, and embark on this research project. I am very passionate about mindfulness myself and sharing this with others. And as Jeremy said, I've been working with my company, Be Well Now, for I think it's about 12 years, and providing mindfulness to different communities, including to children in schools, and more so help guide other mindfulness communities of facilitators and teachers. So it's a pleasure to be and my background is in business marketing as well. So it gives me a great platform to share what I've learned and my business expertise on how to promote and market mindfulness in different programs to others in our communities to help create bigger impact. So as we embarked on this, or put together this project here, if Jeremy, if we could just flip this slideshow. There is a lot of data here I'm going to share. I'm just going to touch on some of the results. We will be sharing this in a full research report with you at a later date, probably in the next few weeks. So I don't want you to get intimidated at all by all of the information that's thrown together here. If you have any questions, I welcome you to just put them in the chat for now, and we'll spend time at the end going through any. And if there's anything you need following up on or are interested in, of course, please reach out to either Jeremy or myself, and we can follow up with you directly. And the whole point of this, as Jeremy said, is today we just wanted to touch on some of the things that we found out through this research survey, and really get into a discussion of what we discovered, and in talks with many of you that I see here today. Thank you for showing up. Both Jeremy and I spent a good amount of time over the past few weeks talking with people one-on-one to get a better understanding of your particular challenges and needs and some opportunities that we could dive into. So we'd love to have a discussion following this presentation with you to address some of those as well. Okay, so we could get started. So welcome. We're here to discuss the National Research Project, which has been taking place this year in 2025, but of course, as Jeremy alluded to, has had a lot of prior work done before I stepped in to implement. Sorry, are we okay to switch? There we go. So we did a variety of research methods. The primary one was our survey. And this was a national comprehensive survey to obtain an in-depth understanding of those who practice and share mindfulness with others in Canada. And for all of those here that did that, you would have seen, and we appreciate your time. It probably took you between maybe 5 and 10 minutes to complete, and there's about 44 questions. So we really want to dive in and get a good understanding of who's out there, both practicing and sharing mindfulness with others. We distributed the survey through our MCC newsletter subscribers, through social media on LinkedIn and Instagram and Facebook, through our personal networks and contacts. And then we utilized other networks like Mindfulness Hamilton to get awareness of the survey out. We launched it on May 6th and wrapped it up on the 29th. And we had a total of 148 respondents, which was terrific. And then we dug into the personal interviews. As a part of the survey, we asked if anyone would like to participate in any further research, and we had an overwhelming response to people wanting to talk more. So we reached out to those people and conducted 31 different interviews within a 2-week time span, May 30th to June 12th. So it was a busy time, but we really, really enjoyed speaking with everyone, and it gave us a chance to really dig into specific challenges and opportunities for us. And during that time, we also held 2 different focus groups. These were virtual small groups of current mindfulness facilitators and teachers. And again, we wanted to get a better understanding of any present challenges and concerns, and to explore opportunities for Mindfulness Council of Canada to offer our future support. One thing that was great for those, I see some of you here today, those who attended, is it kind of doubled as a beautiful community gathering, so that mindfulness teachers could start sharing and meet with each other and create some support networks for their work. And digging into the research. So we'll go through, this is an overview of who we reached. There is a lot of data here, but we'll just quickly run through. And again, I welcome you to put any questions, either jot them down now if you have a piece of paper, or feel free to put them in the chat and we'll address them once we get there. So Ontario is by far the most represented, which reflects our personal networks and communities, as well as the concentration of mindfulness infrastructure within Toronto. We did get responses from further abroad, which was great. And of course, put this into context that this is within the 148 people that did take the time to respond to our survey. And out of those people that we reached, there was a high concentration from healthcare, education, and wellness spaces, which makes sense of where mindfulness is being applied. We did also see that people are students, they are healthcare providers. Are we okay to admit here? And government representatives as well. In terms of the others, and you might see this in a bunch of the charts here, but I'll just list some of the others that were put in there. So it does show a lot of other responses in this field. They would cover retirees, consultants, mindfulness teachers, yoga teachers, social workers, and psychotherapists, amongst others. Age. So we have a high concentration of older people, but we did have some representatives in the 20s and more in their 30s. There is a very established group of mindfulness practitioners and teachers that we talked to, and this kind of reflects that. And gender, we have 75% are female, 17% male, and then there is, non-binary, gender variant, non-conforming was about 2%, and then 9% of 6% preferred not to answer. And race and ethnicity, we do have a large white Caucasian ethnic group here with 57%, but if you look, that's 43% covering more diverse communities, which is what we would hope for to reach, as well as across the country. And this, I apologize, it's cut off a little bit there, but educational background. So we have a very educated cohort here, with many people having a master's degree and even doctoral degrees, as well as bachelor degrees. Now we're going to dig into the personal mindfulness practice. So many people have a regular mindfulness practice, which is great. And this shows how kind of embodied this cohort is. And the next, so years of mindfulness practice. Again, we've got very experienced practitioners. 85% of us have been practicing, or of those surveyed, have been practicing for more than 5 years. Now we dig into the applied mindfulness practice. So the large majority are actively teaching and sharing with others right now. So we've got professionally almost 76%, and then in informal ways, 23%. And then who are we sharing mindfulness practices with? We've got clients, students, family members, staff, and patients, even as much some sharing with athletes, veterans, residents in care facilities, as well as justice spaces. And in other places, it's with friends, specific communities within libraries and centers, with first responders, and with people in places of worship. So this shows that we reach a diverse population, including marginalized and vulnerable groups, which is great to see. And mindfulness teacher training pathways. Oh, this did get cut off. I apologize. Sorry, if you just go back one, we'll just show that this is the mindfulness teacher training. So it's a very well qualified cohort. This blue represents 85%, which have formal teacher training in mindfulness, and 15% do not have formal teacher training. Types of teacher training, excuse me. So we've got our secular mindfulness-based programs and therapies. By far, the largest program there was the MBSR, followed by MBCT, and then the mindful self-compassion as well. And then we have 63 respondents were trained in contemplative training rooted in Eastern tradition practices, and then 15 people were trained in Indigenous wisdom practices. So we do have quite diversity within this training. And now we see that our teachers were trained in many other mind-body modalities, including yoga, breath work, visualization, somatic practices, energetic practices, and movement practices such as Qigong and Tai Chi. And that shows that we're really a multidisciplinary providers able to integrate more than mindfulness into our work. And then we are also very well trained to work with specific populations like trauma-informed youth, chronic pain, older adults and elders, neurodiversities, individuals with substance use disorders, as well as cancer patients. And then if we dig into our professional applications of mindfulness, there are currently 73% of respondents are actually offering or actively offering structured mindfulness programs to others. And they are offering them online. The majority of people are offering online, but also within corporations and workplaces, healthcare settings, in their own home offices, in clients' homes, and in schools. And some of the other places were those of libraries, churches, local community centers like YMCAs, yoga studios, and then retreat centers. How are they being compensated for their services? So we see there's the majority of us or of them receive fee for service. Many people offer volunteer or free services. And then there is some reimbursement from private insurance companies. There's some provincial health coverage there, and they also donate resources and provide services. Some of the other ways of compensation, people share that they were paid directly through employers in various settings. And then some people had said that it was part of their own job responsibilities to be offering mindfulness to others. So, understanding our present challenges. So once again, thank you so much for everyone we spoke to and not just filled out the survey, but dug into it a little bit more. Also, what's lovely about the surveys is we gave options for people to share more, and people did. So we thank you so much for all that you shared to help us gain more insight into what is needed out here. So all this points. So we've got the majority have difficulty reaching clients or students. They're challenged with financial sustainability. They have limited networking and professional development. There's a lack of standards and accreditation that we've seen, a lack of recognition and validation. And then some people did say they don't have any current challenges. I think those people tend to be advanced in their years of practice and sharing with others, and many of which are retired and are doing this when needed, but they aren't looking to sustain be financially sustainable through this. Some of the things that we heard in our conversations with people about their challenges were these quotes. I don't know how to get the word out about my offerings. I don't have enough time. My services are always desired, but it's hard to find paid work versus volunteer. I find it hard to connect with interested clients. Quality of training is a big issue, and it's hard to do it all alone. So, identifying opportunities. In the survey, we went through a lot of different opportunities, which could be potential offerings for MCC. So we'll go through each of them. So potential education offerings. So for culturally relevant trainings, mindfulness-based trainings and certifications, and ceremony and land-based learning opportunities. Through all of these fields, respondents were able to pick more than one thing, but we could see an overwhelming response for educational offerings here. Some of the things we heard in our conversations too are these. I love learning. I wish there were more Canadian programs available. A lot of people seem to go to the States to learn or to have online programs in the States as well. Need access to teachers with diverse backgrounds, and the certification propelled me forward. So just showing how meaningful some of the education can be. Potential event offerings. So here we see a desire for events and a desire for in-person events as well. We do know that providing virtual workshops and retreats help with accessibility. So moving forward, probably some in-person events as well as hybrid opportunities to accommodate both. Yeah. Oh. So people had said it would be lovely to find a place to sit together. And I love to meet others in person to connect. Many people are missing a community of sharing. And someone noted that they wish there was something in person closer to home. And potential community offerings. This really shows the drive for community collaboration and mentorship, and the importance of ongoing peer support through this. So the desired community offerings were access to a network of mindfulness providers, community practice groups, mentor and mentee connections, and then also the opportunity for respondents to actually lead some of their own practices within groups. And again, some things we heard from others. It would be great to tap into a network of teachers. I'd love to collaborate and brainstorm with others. I need people to lean on. Let's help each other to expand what we do. And it'd be really nice to just be connected so that I'm not just doing this alone in my little corner. Potential business development offerings. So we've got some things that are desired, and you can see again, there's lots of desire for all of these. Inclusion in an MCC teacher program directory, funding opportunities, access to industry research, mindfulness content, business development guidance and training. That would include marketing support, discounted provider insurance, and mindfulness teacher accreditation. People definitely want help to professionalize and sustain their own offerings. Some things we heard are it's tricky to find the available grants. I'd love to be included in a teacher directory. It'd be great to have access to research to help validate my work. I need help with marketing and reaching new clients. My primary interest is in an accreditation program. Having a professional body as a guide to validate our certification is helpful. And how do I market this? Who is it for? So within all of those proposed offerings, the one that came out on top were the community offerings, but followed closely behind by business development offerings. And as you see, a strong push for educational offerings as well as events. We really see that there's people prioritize connection and community, but do want to run a sustainable business. And then engagement with Mindfulness Council of Canada. We just want to thank everyone. We had a question at the end of the survey that asked if you were willing to provide any further support. So this is where we connected further with people to finish the research with one-on-one personal interviews as well as the focus groups. But I just wanted to thank you all once again because there was a very strong desire to help promote MCC too, and there's many people with interest in holding positions on the board or being an advisor to the board, as well as becoming a mentor for others. And of course, we appreciate any donations that come in through mindfulness every day in support of MCC. And now, thank you for bearing with me, getting through all those slides. It's time to turn to you and have a discussion. I welcome any questions of the content